Maybe it's because he has a chip on his shoulder due to taking the hardest road to the title possible, or maybe it's just his inherent personality. But Belal Muhammad is one of those guys that genuinely enjoys sitting down in front of a keyboard or a screen and talking some trash.
The just runs his mouth on the tweet.
It's annoying.
This, combined with his perceived unmarketability, has turned him into somewhat of an enigma to a lot of fighters. On the one hand, they look down on him because despite being the current welterweight champion, they don't quite accept him as the face of the division. But on the other, they're forced to engage and give attention to his antics if they want to become the champion themselves. And this paradox has a tendency to irritate his competition to no end, but nobody has let it affect him harder than former champion Kamaru Usman, who took the bait after Belal won the title and began to poke at him in the media.
Once I was forced to pay attention to him, I started to kind of see the antics that goes on outside of the cage. I was never that guy. If I was champion and the next guy up was barking at me, and then of course I would respond, all right, and then we get in there and we'd settle it. But Belal just seems to be a different type of champion who he's willing to make memes and he's willing to get on Twitter and social media because he wants the attention. He craves that attention.
And Usman gave it to him by calling him a bum and claiming that he was barely in the rankings when he was dominating the division. And when someone goes low, Belal always goes lower.
Dominated division. Laugh, laugh, laugh. You beat Masvidal twice and went to cardio kickboxing war with Colby twice. Colby sucks. You are protected by UFC. Now you can barely walk. Your podcast sucks. And your part in Black Panther sucked. Bro, why you gotta hit his attack his acting? You had to go there too?
10-7 round.
Damn.
Dude. Hey,
damn.
Hey, dude.
He went after everybody. He went after Masvidal, went after Colby.
No,
now he goes after his acting.
I like this.
Get personal, why don't you?
Savage.
I don't know if it was a stroke of luck or just the years of built up frustration at not being able to secure a shot at the title that Usman held, but Belal hit a rare form when trolling him in particular, like posting this AI country song to his Twitter account.
Kamaru's in the locker room, lacing up his worn out gloves, thinking about that golden belt and all his dreams of love. He's lost 3 fights in a row, his knees are giving in. Leon dropped him with a headshot, left him wondering when.
The digs at his worn out knees and the head kick that led to him losing the title must have hit a major nerve, because Usman did the one thing that you should never do in a situation like this: play the role of the tough guy and invite Belal to a face-to-face meeting on the Pound for Pound podcast that he co-hosts with Henry Cejudo, in hopes that he would be able to intimidate him into breaking character and looking stupid.
Yeah, like I said, he became champion. He started to come at me with that energy. Well, if you have a problem, I don't really do play the internet game. Let's talk it out. And so, yeah, we invited him on a podcast, and it went how it went.
And by went how it went, Usman means that it backfired horrifically, as he unsurprisingly was unable to keep his emotions in check as Belal trolled him in person, leading to him losing his cool and trying to get physical, resulting in his co-host injuring himself as he was forced to break it up.
I almost got kicked, bro. Like, there's punches were thrown, dude. And I had a messed up ankle at that time. So Kamaru Usman, and Belal, dude. Belal almost kicked me to my head, dude. Luckily, I did a little slip, but yeah, it was definitely rated R.
Now, the podcast still hasn't been released to this day, despite the fans constantly requesting to see it, so what actually went down isn't clear. But judging by the fallout, Belal definitely feels like he got the upper hand both physically and psychologically, and he's been clamoring for Cejudo and Usman to let the public see it, and even went as far as giving a detailed play-by-play of the situation from his point of view.
Henry Cejudo was like, how does it feel to be champion? And, you're at the top now. And I'm like, it feels good right now because everybody wants to listen to you. Everybody thinks you're the champ. Everybody has to look up at you now. And Usman's like, I was a champ too. It's like, yeah, but you're not the champ anymore. And then he just couldn't let it go. He's like, but I'm right there. I was like, nah, bro, you're on a 3-fight losing streak. And he's like, I still had the belt. And I was like, I'm the champion now. But he just couldn't give me my props, right? It was just one of those where he was just like, but anything you do, I do better than you. And then I was like, but you didn't take the head kick better than me. And I think that just like triggered him, where he was just like, I don't play these games, man. It's on sight when people talk like that. And I'm just like, we're right in front of each other on site. Henry Cejudo twisted his ankle, had to break it up, but
Oh, you guys actually got into a physical.
yeah.
Now, this is obviously just one side of the story, but what Belal claims was said definitely sounds like Usman, and his story was at least partially confirmed by Henry Cejudo. So if it's not 100% true, it's probably not far off, especially considering how salty Usman has been acting since this incident. Taking every opportunity he can to throw shots, like saying that Belal should fight Islam Makhachev despite them being close.
If I was him, the decision that I would make next, yeah, 100%. I would definitely probably go up. This whole notion of a Belal training with them, they don't want to, bro. No, I'm going up there. I'm whipping him. I don't care. Just because he comes into our camp, just tries to use our bodies and learn our style. I'm moving up. I'm whipping him. I'm taking that belt. And hey, I'm moving on to the next.
Now, this might sound like neutral commentary and maybe even paint Usman in a professional light, making it seem like he's putting personal issues aside to simply offer his 2 cents on the potential future of the welterweight division. But when you realize that what he's saying is the direct opposite of what he did when he was welterweight champion, it becomes clear that he's just trying to make Belal look bad.
Yeah, but I would never fight Khabib.
Really?
Yeah, it's my brother. You know, it's just like a mutual respect where I don't see myself ever. I don't see myself ever fighting Khabib. I don't see myself ever fighting Israel. You know, even though a lot of people have kind of been hinting towards it, they're like, yeah, you guys need to fight. You guys need to fight. I don't see myself fighting him.
And the fact that he recently said that security would need to be present if him and Belal crossed paths, along with still not releasing the footage to the podcast, shows that deep down he feels like he was the loser in the situation and that it's still constantly on his mind.
Does it rise to the level of if you guys were like backstage at a UFC event that neither of you were competing on, the security would need to be aware of where you are? Does it like rise to that level?
Probably. I would say, I say that only because when you're in it, you're always this defensive guy. I hadn't been that for a while, but now that I'm back in the thick of it, yeah, you probably have to have security back there with us.
Now, I'm not taking sides in this situation as I like both guys, but it's pretty clear that for Usman, the cognitive dissonance of feeling like Belal is beneath him, yet constantly being compelled to respond and engage with him as he is the champion, therefore above Usman within the context of their job, is driving him absolutely insane to the point he's losing his cool and resulting to pettiness. While Belal seems to find the situation amusing at best, which I'm sure frustrates Usman even further. And I think besides making him look bad, the other reason why Usman is yet to release the podcast footage is because he's waiting for Belal to lose so that he can gloat about it in a passive-aggressive way. Otherwise, I don't think he'd be able to handle the fans making fun of how he responded to Belal's trolling. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. And if you want to support this channel further, become a member by hitting join if you're on Android or desktop, or the link in the description if you're on iOS.
We will definitely drop the interview if we get really low on content. I mean, why not drop the? I mean, to be honest, I mean, it's the biggest moment of his life. That's why he talks about it every second. But and if we do drop the interview, it'll be the second biggest moment of his life because it gives him relevance. It gives him a little bit of clout. Look, I was able to maybe tangle with the champ a little bit, which wasn't that eventful. But if he's able to get through Shavkat Rakhmonov and we run super low on content, why not? Because we'll be helping him out, of course. I mean, we know how you guys feel about him, so we'll be helping him out. We get low on content, we'll drop that.
I'm joking, but we are gonna drop it anyways.